Today we're looking at the quadrilateral family. A quadrilateral is a four-sided polygon. A polygon is a figure with straight sides and they have to be closed. So you can see that these are all polygons and these are all quadrilaterals. Okay? Now when we determine, whether a shape or figure is a square or a rhombus or a parallelogram or a rectangle or even a trapezoid, we have to look at its characteristics or attributes. The first attribute you have to look at is whether it has parallel sides. Parallel sides means that the sides opposite from one another, if they were to continue on forever as a line, they would never touch each other. So you can see that it has parallel sides. Another attribute that you'd look at is whether it has right angles. And right angles are simply where the sides meet if there are square corners. You can see that it has right angles. And finally, you look at the shape or figure and determine whether it has equal length sides. You can see that these sides are generally about as long as one another. And that's why I put those little dashes there. Okay? So within the quadrilateral family, we have a parallelogram. Again, a parallelogram is a quadrilateral because it has four sides. But it's special because its opposite sides are parallel. If they kept on going, they would never touch. Within the parallelogram family, we have the rhombus. The rhombus is a parallelogram. If continued on, its sides would never touch. But it's a special kind of shape because a rhombus has equal length sides all the way around. These sides are all equal length. And within the rhombus family is a square. A square is still a rhombus. It has equal length sides. It's still a parallelogram. If continued on, its sides would never touch each other. But it's special because it has right angles, and four of them at that. So a square is a type of rhombus. It's also a type of parallelogram. It's also a type of quadrilateral. A rhombus is a type of parallelogram. It's also a type of quadrilateral. But sometimes a rhombus can be a square, but not all the time. A square always has to be a rhombus. Okay, another part of the parallelogram family is a rectangle. A rectangle is still a type of parallelogram. Opposite sides are parallel. If continued on, they'd never touch. But it's special because it has four right angles, square corners. Within this rectangle family is the square family. The square is a rectangle because opposite sides are parallel, it's a rectangle because it has four square corners, just like the rectangle. It's a parallelogram because its opposite sides are parallel. And it's a quadrilateral because it has four sides. Okay? You could say that a square is a rectangle. You could say a square is a parallelogram. You could say that a rectangle is a parallelogram. A square is always these things, but a parallelogram doesn't necessarily always have to be a square, or a rectangle doesn't always have to be a square. So you see how that works there? The final family is the trapezoid family, and it's outside of the others because it is a member of the quadrilateral family. It does have four sides, but if you look carefully, it's not a parallelogram. Two of its sides, opposite sides, are parallel, but the other two are not, and eventually they would touch. These two are not parallel. This would go this way and crash right about there. So, that's the quadrilateral family.